Shukdev Goswami heard somebody singing the Srimad Bhagavatam, because it was built into his bios, he said, oh, I know this, what this person is singing. And then he would hear, and then the person would stop because he only knows so much. But Shukdev Goswami knew the whole thing. So he would approach, why did you stop? He said, well, that's all my guru told me. Oh, that's all your guru told me? I know the rest, I'll tell you. So that way, Srila Vyasadeva made Shukdev Goswami realize that he knew the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that happened just before Parikshit Maharaj got cursed. So destiny brought Shukdev Goswami to the bank of Ganga, where Parikshit Maharaj was looking for someone. And Srila Vyasadeva himself was there among all the so many rishis and munis. His grandfather Parashar Muni was there present, but nobody was able to take the challenge of Parikshit Maharaj to tell him in 7 days about the whole of creation, about the whole of goal of life, answer every question, the whole chronology. Nobody had the confidence enough to do this in 7 days and finish it, because this is condensing all of the Shastras. So it takes hundreds of years to study these Shastras. How are we going to condense them in 7 days? It's impossible. But Shukdev Goswami said, I can do it. I'll do it for you. Go ahead. Ask any question. I will give you the answer right. But 7 days means 7 days. No night, no dinner, no lunch, no breakfast, not even get up for a drop of water. You can't even get up for a drop of water. 7 days. That's how the Bhagavatam is told in 7 days. Not like the Bhagavad Saptas we do these days. In a Bhagavad Saptah we do these days. If we can explain to you nicely one canto, that would be a big achievement. Because 7 days means 10 hours. 15. Is that okay? Another question? Yes?
Is there a mention of Shukdev Goswami's past life? That how did he understand whole the Vedas and how he could able to do it in 7 days?
It's, as far as I know, maybe Shamikrishi Prabhu knows, there is no mention I have heard of his past life. The way it is explained is that in this life only, because of hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, he became self-realized in this lifetime only. So of course some prarabdha must be there, and I won't be surprised if I came across that, but I haven't come across that yet. Tell me?
He's a parent of
Yeah.
He's a
Parrot. Well, of course, from the eternal time, he is the parrot of Srimati Radharani, Shukdev Goswami. And that is also even mentioned that the Srimad Bhagavatam is a ripened fruit which is also being bit by the parrot of Srimati Radharani. So his eternal identity is that parrot of Radharani, but like a previous birth, that
So it's being the part of the Leela.
yes,
So he is observing all the Radha Krishna Leelas.
yes,
That's how he knows the.
yeah. So that parrot came back to enlighten the world, and he did. His enlightenment were still reciting and hearing and talking about. Although it's compiled here the way Sut Goswami quoted, Shukdev Goswami, but nevertheless, it's coming from Shukdev Goswami. So, Srila Vyasadeva wanted to give his son the credit of speaking it. And even that, not directly, he gave the credit really to Sut Goswami of quoting Shukdev Goswami. That's okay? Any other question? Okay, then we will do the overview of Srimad Bhagavatam. Go to next slide. There are 10 main topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. These 10 topics are actually also mainly divided in 10 different cantos. Where we get this information? This is coming from Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Also, in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, in the second canto and the 10th chapter, the first and second verse give you all these names that we have on the screen for you. The first is Sarga, second is Visarga, Sthana, Poshana, Puti, Manvantar, Ishanukatha, Nirodha, Mukti and Ashraya. In English, they are primary creation, secondary creation, maintenance, special favors to the devotees, impetus for activity, regulative principles, incarnations, winding up of the creation, liberation and shelter, ashraya. So in 10 different cantos, these 10 topics have been discussed in a roundabout way. It is not completely clear. Like if you read the whole canto, you cannot tell that this topic is really being presented in the whole canto, because everybody has their own understanding. For example, Shukdev Goswami himself says in the Bhagavatam that every bird flies at their own height. Like the little, what do you call those little birds, the tiny ones? Hummingbirds. Thank you. The hummingbirds don't fly very high. The common birds, they only go up to the tree height. But the bigger birds, they don't fly down here, like the eagle flies way high up. Then there is this other one, bird. What do you say that in English?
Vulture.
Vulture? Not vulture. Another hawk. Hawk will fly even higher. And then the Bhagavatam also talks about this other bird that drinks water out of the cloud. Chanaka bird. So, similarly, everybody can read the same Srimad Bhagavatam and draw something else, or draw to their level of understanding. But then you go to read it again and you would notice that your own understanding is gone up a notch or two. And then you go back to it again and hopefully it goes up another notch or two. It will happen. We hope, but it happens. So it is not all that clear, but we will try to explain and give some kind of overview. So not that just going through this you will today understand the whole Bhagavatam, but you will get a good skeleton of it. So go to the next slide. In the first, it explains Sarga. Now don't click yet. Who understands Sarga?
Portion of canto.
What is Sarga? Not Swarga. Sarga.
Portion of canto. Portion of canto.
Portion of canto is Sarga.
That may be
The Sarga is a portion of like a verse or something. This is not that Sarga. This Sarga, when you translate it in English, it becomes very easy. Primary creation. So primary creation means the creation of what you see there is the Milky Way. Who created the Milky Way? Srila Prabhupada says that some rascal scientists will tell you that a big explosion created the Milky Way. But Srimad Bhagavatam tells us otherwise. That not only the Milky Way was created by the Supreme Personality, these rascals were also created by Supreme. And they are trying to tell us that we come from monkeys, and Srila Prabhupada says, not us, you come from them. You think you come from the monkeys, you must be coming from the monkeys. We're not. We're made by God. So what is in this Milky Way? What is created? Who creates the Milky Way? In what form? Krishna creates the Milky Way in the form of Karnadakshai Vishnu, who lays down in the causal ocean and is known to be the cause of all causes in terms of the material world. So, what is in the Milky Way? Go to the next. The Milky Way offers us the don't keep going.
sorry.
The 5 gross material elements. Who knows the 5 gross material elements?
Air, water, ether, fire,
Air, water, ether, fire,
and earth.
and earth. So, who created them?
Krishna.
It's not Brahma. It's not us. It's not the Big Bang. And it's not Stephen Hawkins. Neither is it Darwin, and neither was it evolved from somewhere. It was created. And the next, go next please. 5 working senses. Yes.
Eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Skin.
And skin
And mind.
and mind.
No, not mine.
A good try. Then there are others. 5 knowledge gathering senses. So there are knowledge gathering senses, what you were talking about. And then there are working senses.
Hands, legs. Hands, legs.
Then the next, there are also subtle elements that we have. So when we say this person over here, he is a composition of so many things. As long as he is alive, the person actually is the soul that is residing inside this body. And then that body, just like we see him wearing clothes right now, inside those clothes he is also wearing the 5 gross material elements. So other than the 5 gross material elements and the soul, there are 3 other elements present. that are known to be the subtle senses, mind, intelligence, and false ego. That is what gives him a personality. Because otherwise, what is the difference from one cooler to the next cooler? One cup to the next cup? Do the cups have personalities? They don't. Dirt has personality. We can give it one, but it doesn't have its own. But we have personalities. So these gross and subtle materials, they are the ones who cause us to give the personality. So this is Sarga. Up to this point, it's created by Krishna himself, or you can say Karnadaksha Vishnu, on the order of Krishna. And Karnadaksha Vishnu is the expansion of Krishna. Same way. Up to here. He prepares this much, and then he puts Garbhadaksha Vishnu into it, Kshirodaksha Vishnu into it, and Brahma coming out of the navel of Garbhadaksha Vishnu. So the next canto will give us, this is total material energy or the universal form. This whole form is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita to be a universal form of Krishna. But up to this much is created, and then this is called primary creation, and most of the information about the primary creation you would find in the Bhagavatam Canto 1. In the second canto, we go to Visarga. Visarga is explained in the second canto. Matra is missing. Next, this is Brahma. Up to the creation of Brahma is Sarga, and from here onwards is Visarga. So Lord Brahma produces all the moving and non-moving bodies in the universe. Either he produces himself or he makes the arrangement of them being produced. He produces the Prajapatis produce daughters, and those daughters, they give birth to insects and vanaspatis and reptiles and animals and all kinds of different kind of species. Go to the next. There's all the species reincarnating. So from there on, all the way up to all the demigods even are produced by Lord Brahma himself. Lord Brahma produces or causes to produce all of the demigods. Who are the demigods? All the 33 crores Devi Devatas are all produced this way. Who knows how long is their life? How long do the Devi Devatas live? 33 crore Devi Devataओं का life कितना है? How long do they live?
100 years.
100 years.
100 years of Brahma. Within the,
100 years of the Devi.
in their side, yeah.
100 kalpas? Anybody else? How many yugas? 4 yugas. Anybody else?
It's 71.
71. Who said that? Where'd you get that?
The Prajapatis change, right? The Manus. So whenever Manus change, then it change.
Very good. Here is a present for you. 71 yoga chakras, which is also known as one manvantar. In one manvantar, all these, at the beginning of every Manvantar, all the Devi Devatas are born, and at the end of the same Manvantar, they all have to die. So, the next Manvantar starts right away, soon as one ends, and a whole new set of all the Devi Devatas is produced by Lord Brahma. This information is also given in Srimad Bhagavatam by Lord Indra himself. When Narad Muni goes to Lord Indra and says, "Oh, you are the best devotee who has the most mercy of the Supreme Personality of God." He said, "No, it's not me. I am so insignificant that 14 of me go through in only one day of Brahma. 14 new Indras come and die, or say finish their life cycle. 14 life cycles of Indra and all the other devatas is finished in one day of Brahma, and that is only a day. There's still a night left. That's 12 hours of Brahma's day. Then he has a 12-hour night. He knows how to take good rest. He probably gets very tired. So he rests for 12 hours of his day and works for 12 hours. And that 12 hours is 14 Manvantars. And one Manvantar is 71 Yoga Chakra, like this Prabhu said. What is your name, Prabhu?
Veerabhadra.
Veerabhadra Prabhu. Thank you. So, as Veerabhadra Prabhu explained, 71 Yoga Chakras is the life of these Devi Devatas. So, third canto explains about Sthana. Sthana has many meanings, and one of the meanings of Sthana is also maintenance of the universe by Lord Vishnu. And it explains, goes into explaining that the maintenance is more important than the role of Brahma, who is the creator, because he's only the secondary creator. He's not the real creator. And Lord Shiva, who is the destroyer. Because creating something from things that have been provided to us is much easier than producing those ingredients themselves. Just like we think, the humankind in this world think, oh, we produce this, we make this, we do this, and Srila Prabhupada says, you don't do anything, you don't produce anything. You want to produce something, show me how to produce one drop of water by not using anything that nature has already provided to us. Produce 1 grain of rice or wheat without using any natural resources that are provided to us by Krishna. How useless are we thinking that here we are on the top of the food chain and we're the super intelligent and we're the most civilized and this and that, but really produce something as useless as 1 sand of dirt or sand. Can somebody produce that? How many things can you produce out of the dirt which we cannot produce? Virtually everything. So many things come out of the dirt. We cannot produce 1 handful of it. And we think that we are the big producers. The biggest producer in the world is United States of America. Actually, you're the biggest producers of death. Because all those weapons will make them. Not that the people will not die without these weapons, they'll die one day anyways. But still, the biggest producers of death. Not even the nuclear energy, nothing can be produced. Something very simple cannot be produced without the ingredients that are provided by Krishna himself in the first canto explanation of the Sarga. So, Sthana, go to the next, clearly explains as the most of the Hindus from the Hindu background, they're all either confused or they think they're not confused, but they are when they think Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the Trinity, all the same. They're not the same. So that's what the third canto tells us. The Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, although they are the three Trinity, the three main personalities, but they're not the same. Brahma is known to be the creator, Vishnu is known to be the maintainer, and Lord Shiva is known to be the destroyer. But they're not the same. Vishnu is Vishnu. Brahma is a living entity who has 100 years of life. He's a very, very special living entity. Now don't let me tell you he's like one of us. He's a very special living entity. But by definition, he still is a Jivatma who is going to live his life and get old and hand over to the next. And Lord Shiva, although again coming from Vishnu only, but comes from Sadashiv Lok and is compared to Vishnu as in milk and yogurt. You can get yogurt from milk, but you cannot get milk from yogurt. It'll never go back. So, Lord Shiva is not only in charge of destruction, he does many other things as well that will also come up in so many other cantos. But the fourth here, anybody has a question so far?
Lord Shiva is
You were just
eternal.
waiting.
Lord Shiva is eternal. Is it?
Eternal. Yes.
He doesn't have
Lord
that
Shiva
like-
doesn't die.
Like Brahma.
No.
He's
Or other typical Devi
They die.
Prabhuji, on the same line, like Durga, what about Durga?
Durga is a consort of Lord Shiva. She has a special position. Ganesh also has, this,
Yes.
has
Their
a
family completely have.
special position. But they are not Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are above the Jiva Tattva. They are not Jiva Tattva like we can say Brahma is. These personalities are not Jiva Tattvas.
So
They are high.
Lord Shiva is not demigod.
Well, in many places, Srila Prabhupada names him to be demigod. But then it depends what definition of demigod are you using. There is a definition of demigod that says, okay, everybody who's a Jivatma is going to die as a demigod. Or another definition of demigod could be, there is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then there are other gods. Lord Shiva is also God. So, but he's not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he comes under the demigod definition for that purpose. But he's not like Indradi Devta, who are going to pass on after the end of 1111 or 71 cycles. You check it. Yes.
Is it true that there's many Brahmas and many Vishnus?
Yes. Every Brahmand.
Yes.
See, this universe that we know of, called the Milky Way, is not the only universe, is there? Even the Hubble telescope is finding so many other universes, numerous other universes. And in front of them, our universe is smaller than a dot. They're finding that our universe is really, really so tiny out there in front of the other universes. And that's exactly what is explained in our Srimad Bhagavatam, that one day Lord Brahma came to see Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So he comes to the door and sends a message. Brahma is here to see you. The doorkeeper tries to stop him. Say, oh, you're stopping me, I'm Brahma. Say, okay. I'll find out if you're allowed to go in. And when he explains the whole thing to Krishna, he says, oh, this Brahma has got some false ego. So hold on to Brahma for a second. And he asked all the other Brahmas to come into the room. And then he said, okay, this Brahma can also come. And when Brahma comes with his 4 heads, thinking of himself to be the highest, he sees that he is the only 4-headed Brahma. The others are 6 heads, 10 heads, 12 heads, 100 heads, 1,000 heads, 10,000 heads, 1 million heads. So the size of the universe that you are the Brahma of, accordingly you will have that many heads. So our Brahma, having only 4 heads, manages just about the tiniest universe that there is. Yes.
So does that mean that does each Brahma have a different lifespan?
Each Brahma having a different lifespan is not mentioned. Brahma, only our Brahma's lifespan is mentioned. So I cannot say yes or no. What do you think?
Just like we are breathing, so if we exhale the first breath, that is the biggest universe, and then the last breath is the smallest, but the smallest is taken inhale the first, so that is the smallest universe which is inhaled, and then the other universe that they are inhaled by Mahavishnu.
So the universes that come out first, their Vishnu, their Brahma would have longer than longer than 100 years of lifespan, and their yugas could be equally bigger. So unless it is mentioned that their Brahma's age is more than 100 years, it could be 100 years, but those 100 years may be a lot longer. Their one yoga chakra may be a lot bigger yoga chakra than ours. So they could come down to 100 years of Brahma's life, but much longer 100 years. Because in everybody's concept, everybody has a different time concept. You give somebody, a child who's in nursery, say you've done something bad, you're grounded for 5 days. My God, 5 days? No, the little children get grounded for 5 minutes, that's all. 5 minutes is too long for them. To be grounded for 5 minutes, my God, that's too long. But that's what you, something like that is what you get. But as we grow older, we can be grounded for a lot longer. It's okay? Any other question?
I have 2 questions. So then you have Shiva also for one Shiva for every universe?
Yes. That
and
would
his
make
whole
sense.
family like Ganesh and Parvati also for everyone.
Yes, Lord Shiva comes from the Sadashiv place. So Sadashiv is part of Vaikuntha, and Vaikuntha is also eternal, and everybody who lives there is also eternal. So it would make sense to have, for every Brahman to have their own Lord Shiva. And these Durga, Parvati, they're the same. They are actually the energies of God. They are energies of Krishna. They are married off to Lord Shiva, but they are energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. They are part of Mahamaya. Then there is Yogmaya. So Mahamaya organizes the material aspect, the Yogmaya organizes the Leela aspect, pastimes.
And then, like in Krishna Leela, Brahma is at so many pastimes we have, like, he steals the Gopa boys, and again this pastime when he comes to Dwarka. But we also say that Krishna comes once in the day of Brahma. So are all the pastimes, like, you learn a lesson one day, then you learn the same lesson the next day, like that happens to Brahma every day, or there are different pastimes every day?
What the pastimes we have that have been described by the senior acharyas, and that's what we know. Some of these pastimes are from this birth of Lord Krishna. Some of these pastimes may be from previous births of Lord Krishna. Roundabout, the skeleton remains about the same, but many small little technicalities are different every time. Paritranaaya sadhunam vinashaya chatuskratam dharma sanstapnaya will not change. Characters may change. Who are the dushkratas? That may change. Who are the paritranaya? That could change. But the principles will not change. They are unchanged.
So there are different pastimes on different days of Brahma when Krishna comes.
Yes.
In the third canto it is explained that Lord Shiva took birth from Brahma.
From birth?
Lord Brahma. Lord Shiva took birth
Takes birth from Brahma. Yes. So
No, that was not.
that confuses us.
Yeah, he is a living entity and like he is eternal person.
Manifestation.
Just because he takes birth from Lord Brahma does not make him created by Brahma. Lord Shiva could not be created by Lord Brahma. He is a much higher tattva than Jiva tattva. But that's just how he appears. That's just how he appears. Just like Lord Varaha himself comes from the nose of Brahma. So one can say, oh, it's coming from the nose of Brahma. It must be. How could he be higher than Lord Brahma? There's no way. Doesn't make any sense. But our sense is also nonsense. That's why so many things don't make sense to us. But that's why there is Shastra. So things that don't make clear sense to us, we can follow the Shastra on and try to make sense of them. And we pray to Krishna, we pray to the authorities, and it will start to make sense. In the beginning it may not. It may think, oh, this is a fairy tale. Like actually all the fairy tales, like the, what do you call that, Snow White and what are the others? Cinderella. And which other one?
Harry Potter.
Maybe Harry Potter also. What is described in these fairy tales is everything is living, everything is talking. Even Every tree talks to Snow White when the Snow White goes into the jungle. Every tree can talk to him, to her. Every blade of grass can talk to Snow White. Every little animal or insect can talk and actually carry on a conversation. But doesn't it look nonsense, sound nonsense? But that's exactly the description of the Vaikuntha Dham in our scriptures. Exactly the same. There is no difference. When you go to Vaikuntha Dham, you will find every tree can talk to you. Every animal can talk to you. Cows can talk to you. There is nothing over there who cannot talk to you or not have a relationship with you or not be able to carry on a conversation with you. They all do that. So all these Disney movies are actually the ones that show this kind of thing, are in a way based on our Shastras. They're not directly depicting, but they are giving the idea which is already presented in the Srimad Bhagavatam at least 5,000 years ago, before Disney was even born. It was already all been there. So we cannot say that he thought of it. It's coming right out of the scriptures. Okay? Clear? What part of this description is the question? Where does Lord Shiva stay? Shiva. His abode. Where is his abode? Okay. The eternal abode of all Shiva Tattva is Vaikuntha Dham. The first layer of the Vaikuntha, after the Brahma Jyoti, the first layer of the Vaikuntha is known as Sadashiva. Sadashiva. That's where the Shiva Tattva comes from and goes back. Does not go back into the Mahatattva or subject to taking another birth somewhere else like Brahma is. Lord Shiva is not subject to that. So he would come from the Sadashiv and he would go back to Sadashiv. That is just a pastime to have Rudra appear. That's not a description of Shiva. The description is of Rudra. Rudra is anger. And Lord Shiva comes from that. So the description you are giving, according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, is a description of Rudra. And from Rudra comes Lord Shiva. And it's just an arrangement. It is just an arrangement that he appears that way. An arrangement is made at the beginning of the Kalpa or the first day of Brahma that Rudra will appear that way. From anger. Well, from Ananta Shesh, everything comes from Anantashesha. We all come from Anantashesha. Karnadakshaya Vishnu is coming from Anantashesha. So it's Anantashesha is a higher level than even Karnadakshaya Vishnu. We have Shirodakshaya Vishnu inside. Then every universe has Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. In a way, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, you can say, reports to Karnadakshaya Vishnu. But Karnadakshaya Vishnu reports to Sankarshan. Sankarshan in turn will report to Krishna. Like that. Just to understand. Although reporting to kind of language is not used in the Bhagavatam, but we use it just to make a point because people working in corporations, they understand this kind of language. Okay? Yeah, I have it. I have brought it.
We'll bring tomorrow.
It's at home. Please come tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll bring.
We will show you. We have a big picture. It will go from there to here. So whose home is it tomorrow?
In Arnab Prabhu's house. We'll bring.
Is he here?
We have. So we'll bring him. He's not here at all.
You have that picture?
Yes.
The Prabhu creation?
At all. Yes. Yeah.
I have brought a double size, but for a home like this, just that size is good enough.
We have a PDF file of the JPEG also. You can put it in the computer.
Yeah, it's actually on my computer also somewhere, but I will have to find it. We have that. We will show you. Any other question? Yes.
Once Brahma died, then all the demigods died, or how they are whole recreation happening again, or how the maintenance?
Okay. To understand it correctly, the whole group of all the demigods, they are all refreshing or restarting or dying 14 times in Lord Brahma's day. So at the end of every day of Lord Brahma, the 14th time all the demigods have already gone on. So at the end of Brahma's life cycle, the same thing will happen. They're all gone by default first, then Brahma goes.
Then whole recreation happens again. You showed
Yes, that is, as Prabhuji was explaining, Shamik Rishi Prabhu, that the breath of Karnadakshaya Vishnu created this Brahman. Until he breathes out, this Brahman is going. When the 100 years of Brahma finish, that will coincide with Lord Vishnu starting to breathe this Brahman in. So when it's just about to be breathed in by Karnadakshaya Vishnu, will end the 100-year cycle of Lord Brahma. Is that right, Prabhu?
like we are eternal being.
It's a good thing Shamik Rishi Prabhu is here to help me.
Can we compare breathing process similar to black holes?
Yes, that breathing process is a breathing process according to our Vedic scriptures, but it is the same thing as what they call a black hole because they cannot see behind it. We know behind it.
You think it goes into black hole?
Yes. So many are already going, but our cycle of this Brahman will coincide with our Brahma being 100 years old. How old is our Brahma now?
53rd or something. 53rd or 51st. I don't know.
He's right.
27.
27?
57.
No.
27.
No, 50 something. Half.
Our Brahma is 57 years old. Huh?
The second paratha is just started.
Yeah, 50 something.
50 plus. 51.
Yes.
So that's a year we're counting.
Yeah, Brahma.
We'll find out.
So 30 in every
Seventh Manvanta.
seventh Manvanta.
Seventh Manvanta. There are 14 Manvantas. This is the middle part.
28th Yuga cycle.
Yeah.
We are in the 28th Yuga cycle of the 7th Manvantar of today.
So 51 years you may say Brahma. 51, 50. Around that age. 28th Manvanta and 7 Manvanta and 28th Yuga cycle.
Yeah.
There is 1000 Yuga cycle.
Every day,
1000 minus 27 if you divide, that will tell you how many years.
every day, Lord Krishna comes, 7th Manvantar, 28th Yuga cycle. And we are so lucky to be in a human form at this time when Lord Krishna has just come and gone. Imagine how long we would have to wait for Krishna to come again. And when Krishna comes, then only Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't come here. And he makes the process of bhakti, devotional service, so easy, so simple, that anybody can achieve. So we are so fortunate that we are here and we are in a human form and we have found this movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and we have the shelter of Srila Prabhupada's direct disciples like Srila Krishna and so many others, Maharajas, Sannyasis, everybody who comes to preach here, Radhanath Swami, Bhakti Charu Swami, Mohapad Swami. Yes.
Is it determined the reason of when Krishna will appear? Why is the reason that's going to appear then, at that moment, at that time? Like this one that we are now. Is there a reason for that?
As far as I know, this is an